on the wire right now, we have Mr. Tim Berry, solo artist and legendary frontman of the band Avail. Now, Tim, first off, I want to talk about your solo career and then get a little bit into the business of Avail. But first off, how's the road treating you, bro?
The road's treating me well, and first off, I'm going to tell you that I think it's the funniest darn thing in the world when people say legendary frontman of Avail. And I'm 38 years old, and about 4 or 5 years ago, people started addressing me as Sir or Mr. or writing legendary, which I think is profoundly ridiculous. No offense to you. And I've been traveling with my sister for a few years. Up until recently, she's played violin with me on stage, and every night I'm like, man, these people, they say Mr. Barry, or they say thank you, sir, or they say legendary. I think it's because I'm old. And she's like, no, they're just trying to respect you. I said, hell no, that legendary thing, they only bring that up when you're too old to be doing what you're doing.
No, man, no disrespect.
Yeah, no, it's just funny. I know that's what she said. She said, it's a lot of respect. I said, hell no, it's all because I'm getting ancient. So the tour's going real good. I'm actually home in Virginia right now. I took a week off in the middle of the tour. We just finished about 30 days. Coast to coast, and I came home because I'm old and I like to relax for a minute, and it's beginning of April. I need to get my garden in the ground and all that crap before we leave, but I leave again day after tomorrow and finish it up to the end of April, and yeah, man, it's been a good time. It's been a good time. Some shows have been small, and some shows have been pretty big, and I like inconsistency. I set the tour up intentionally to make it so that it wouldn't be redundant or boring in any way. In particular, like playing, say, like the Harvest of Hope Festival in Florida, which had tons and tons of people, and then the next day doing a $5 DIY show in New Orleans, and then, down the road playing a backyard barbecue on St. Patrick's Day in Bakersfield, California, and then, bars and all that crap. So it's been a really good time, inconsistent, which keeps me alive.
Yeah, I was actually going to bring up the Harvest of Hope Fest. I talked to Tom Gable about that. I did a little coverage on that. Can you go in a little more detail about what that event's about? It's a good cause.
Well, basically, Harvest of Hope Festival is basically a massive production, massive fundraiser to donate money to a group who basically looks after migrant workers. Obviously, migrant workers, unfortunately, are bottom rung as far as any sort of no groups really look after them. And when there's an urgent need to hire help for them or to help provide for them, there's not a lot of resources. So that's what essentially the money from Harvest Hope goes to. And it's unfortunate in the sense that if we didn't actually have migrant workers, these people out here working the fields and whatnot, we wouldn't have any of the resources that we have in, say, grocery stores and whatnot. So they're very overlooked. So it was an important thing to facilitate this benefit, and the folks who put it on did a tremendous job. I mean, just the startup costs for staging, lights, generators, security, food, porta potties, licensing, liability. I mean, it was an unbelievable task that went, I can't say flawlessly because I wasn't an insider, but they just did a terrific job for everyone. So it was good, and the lineup was pretty crazy. I mean, everyone from Bad Brains to Against Me to sort of dance punk to hip hop to old dudes with acoustic guitars like myself and so on and so forth. And it was a tremendous time. And you mentioned Tom Gable. That Against Me show was sick. Yeah. The thing that's great about Against Me is they just do whatever the hell they want. Mm-hmm. And I support them 100%. So much so, in whatever business transactions transpire between record labels and whatnot, all of that is irrelevant. That's up to them. But I think one of the coolest things about seeing them play Harvest of Hope is traditionally when you play a festival and you're a band of that magnitude, you go ahead and do like your greatest hits set in 45 minutes. They play their first 3 songs they played were brand new. They do whatever they want. The whole crowd just stood there and was like, oh my God, these guys are setting this off with songs we've never heard. And that was a great time.
Now, to get into your new material, talk about the newest release, Manchester. What's the idea behind that record? What's the inspiration? What's some of the subject matter?
Subject matter, inspiration, and concept is basically how I've always done it, whether it be Avail or on my own. It's just whatever pops out. They're almost like journal entries. I never create like a theme. In fact, I hear a lot of other singers say this too, but I don't write songs. They just show up. and that's a collection of songs that showed up. It's funny though, I tend to write a lot of first-person songs, and people believe that I'm singing about myself. There's a song on there called South Hill that's basically about how recruiters in the U.S. military inherently prey on the poor, and the poor get themselves in situations overseas in active duty deployments, and it doesn't really always turn out the way it should. The song's about the human cost of war. I researched it incredibly before I finished it, and people instantly say, "Were you in the military?" And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm drawing that from the experiences that other people have had. Or there's another first-person song on there that the lyrics go, "I walk straight now, but with a sway. Please consider where I've been. I'm burning Oxycontins now instead of heroin, and people think I'm a junkie." But that's actually drawn from I hang around a lot of homeless folks, and that was drawn from conversations I was having with an older drunk guy who was sharing his life experiences with me. But anyway, those songs just show up, and they're essentially journal entries. That's the concept.
You're keeping them confused like Bobby Dylan.
Yeah, someone's got to do it.
Now you started the solo thing around 2004. Is that right around the time you started doing this full time?
I think so. I started it just like Avail. It was just a complete accident. A little history on it is that, well, first of all, I'll say that I've never been one to follow pop culture, and that includes like independent or underground culture, like our musical community. So I'm thankful I didn't do that, because when I started putting out records, it was doing interviews where I realized that every stupid punk rocker, including myself, had picked up an acoustic guitar and started playing songs. I'm glad that I didn't know that, because I would have never started doing something that I truly enjoy, which is standing there with an acoustic guitar telling stories and singing songs. But the first time I played a show, I think it was in 2003. It might have been January 2004. I can't completely remember. But Avail had been invited to play a show down in Asheville, North Carolina, for a leftist newspaper called the Asheville Global Report. It was a benefit. They were running out of money. Avail was not available to do the show, so I went down there with a guitar and thought I'd go ahead and try out some of these songs that I've been writing and recording. And that's kind of how I started doing it. I felt extremely challenged. There's something to be said about the ease of playing in your popular rock band, and the second I get on stage with Avail and start singing, everybody sings along, and suddenly the challenge, it goes away. And I was so extremely nervous when I played a show in Asheville, North Carolina, to the point where my hands are shaking and my voice was shaking, and just nervous as hell. And suddenly I felt that excitement and that challenge with music again. So I became sort of addicted to it, and followed up by putting out a record, which actually had no intent of coming out. I just recorded some songs so my family could hear them and some close friends, and then I ended up releasing it, and there you go, and then I just never stopped.
So an accidental path is what led you to it, essentially.
I kind of feel better about things like that being accidents, because a lot of folks, let's face it, they come up with a concept or an image or a sound before they come up with anything else. They go, let's start a band that sounds like this band and looks like this band, and let's grow our hair so it looks this way. And there's something not organic about that. And I think the music that I'm fan, like the biggest fans are people who do it surely just completely out of passion. There's a lot of fake shit out there, and you can tell when someone's on stage if they're faking it or not. And I'm kind of glad that I've never been able to do that.